Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott Mackenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
Well, welcome, industrial professional. Thank you very much for joining Industrial Talk, and thank you for your continued support of this platform that celebrates you, pointing at you in the video. Because you're bold, brave, and you dare greatly, you innovate, you collaborate, you're solving problems each and every day, and you know what else? You're buckled in. Industry is just a flying down the track, man. It's an exciting time to be in industry, to be in manufacturing, to be in oil and gas, to be in data. But it just keeps going on and on and on. That's why Industrial Talk is here for you. We're going to make this one a quick intro. We got two gents in the hot seat. We were broadcasting from Hexagon Live, Las Vegas, Nevada. Dilraj and Eric, that's right. 21 Tech is the organization. And we're talking asset management. We're talking solutions. We're talking about stuff that you need to know. These two individuals are absolute rock stars. They are a must connect on LinkedIn. They are a must connect to collaborate with. They need to be a part of your team. No doubt about it. They never disappoint. Dilraj has been on the podcast before. And again, he's always on it. When he's on it, you know, he's Dilraj. He knows what he's doing. You know, there's always this, I always say it, and I'll make this brief. You educate, Dilraj. You collaborate. You need to connect with Dilraj. And you need to innovate, yes. But you know what you really need to? Individuals within industry that you can trust, that's been down that road, who's walked that walk for such a long time, who sees the changes taking place within industry. Dilraj, Eric, 21 Tech, the organization, they know what they're doing. So let's get on with the conversation. All right. Once again, Scott Mackenzie on the floor here in the zone. It is Hexagon Live 2025. We are in Las Vegas. We don't go outside because it's hot as can be. Not a good place to be. So we stay in the casino. Now we're right here. Dilraj. He's been on the show a couple of times. Yep. He never disappoints. He always delivers insights and value. Don't let us down this time.
One thing I've learned, and I gotta learn how to dress like you. This man is the best dresser in Vegas.
Right here.
He is something else.
I'm gonna up my game.
There's a sense of style that tech guys need to learn from him. So shout out to you.
Right there. And now we'll just wrap it up. We're gonna leave on a high. Yeah.
Good idea.
Let's go. Let's start just sort of level set right now, Dilraj. Let's just talk a little bit about where we're at, what's happening with Tech 21 Tech, excuse me. I read Tech, and then I saw 21. No, it's 21 Tech. Where do we stand from the last time we spoke? What's going on?
All right. Before I do that, I'm just going to introduce Eric Schmidt, our Shufelt, our Vice President of Professional Services, who is one of the most brilliant minds in asset management and running organizations, and is a true leader in the game. So we're really happy to have him here. And he's basically running our entire professional services division with public sector around the continent of North America. You asked me a really legitimate question. The last time we talked about being on the cusp of change, on things that were going to change, and we were really excited about what's coming down.
Yeah.
That change has arrived. We're here.
I call it an industrial renaissance. It's crackling out there.
Yeah. It's
something's going.
But you know what's really interesting that we're finding is a lot of companies are saying, we've got to bring AI to asset management. And they're coming up with these really grand AI preventative maintenance plans that our clients are looking at with fear and intimidation.
Yes.
And saying, you're selling us this. We're here. Our data is incomplete. Our data is dirty. We can't even use the data to get there. So how do we get there? And so 21 Tech has really changed the way we are bringing AI to asset management. We're looking at the critical fundamental problem of data and saying, you can't get there until you have the stepping stones. And we've developed AI to help automate their processes and make them more efficient, but while doing so, to clean up their data so they can get to the next level.
Every conversation I've had over the years that I've been talking with professionals, that has always been, it's like, hey, that's great. That's fantastic. Deploy that system. What do you do with the data? What do you do with the legacy system? Or legacy data? How far do you go back? How do you scrub that data?
Yeah.
So that you're not just using dirty stuff
Yeah.
and coming up with some bad decisions.
Yeah.
So you've come up with that?
We've come up with that. And so what we've created are a bunch of AI point solutions. And here's an example. Our clients have 2,500 page manuals. With this bus engine part, here's what you should do. Here's the data you should bring in. And then the technicians look at that. And when they're trying to do data entry into the system, they take shortcuts. They're like, it's too long.
Oh, they pencil.
Or they don't even look at
Yeah,
the manual. They're like, we'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
And so the data never gets clean.
Nope.
It stays dirty. So what we're doing is we're doing AI that brings those manuals in. And the moment they start typing, we pre-populate all this stuff from A to Z and say, based on your own manuals, here's the data elements that you should have. Here's how you should be entering it in. And they just look at it and go, good. So we've saved them all this time, but we're getting them pristine data that they're operating out of.
How far do you go back? How have you had that conversation and saying, hey, what's about the historical data? How far do you go back?
Yeah. So
Well, what sort of rule of thumb do we have here?
So it depends on the organization.
Yeah.
Some of them are saying at some point we got to draw a line in the sand and say, going forward, we want clean data.
Yeah.
And then we run the AI on the clean data we have, because right now we have none.
Yeah.
And some are saying, well, now that you've got us really interested in how this clean data is, can you use AI to look at the data we've got
Yeah.
and give us suggestions on how to clean up our old stuff? So that's the other AI application we've developed.
Fantastic.
As they start bringing it up, we're like, based on your own data, based on what we see, here's what you should be putting in. And so we're forcing them, instead of manually entering in all of it, forcing them with all these suggestions that they go, oh my God, we can just update our data with this clean information. So
Brilliant.
these are like stepping stones,
Yeah,
but
it's
critical
brilliant
stepping
because it is because having the conversation around historical data, how far you go back, how do you clean the data, how do you scrub the data? You know as well as I do. You've been in conference rooms where somebody's like, okay, let's start scrubbing that data. Everybody starts to flatline. Nobody wants to do it, or they proceed, and a week into the process, it's like, wow, this is overwhelming.
You said it exactly right. The overwhelming quantity and effort makes people go, we don't want to touch that.
No.
It's the third rail of asset management.
Yeah.
So rather than do that, if we can just incrementalize it and say, hey, we've got this point solutions that's cleaning your data along the way, and then in a year, they've got clean data they didn't have to do much about, that's the way we feel that will get them over the hump.
And I would imagine you get to a point where you have this clean data, you have this history of clean data that you've achieved. Then all of a sudden there's that incremental benefit. Do I really need to go historical? Or do I have enough data right there to give me great insights into whatever the health of that asset or what I need to do from a implementation perspective?
Exactly. You put it so good. What is the data you need where your extrapolation error is as low as possible?
There you go.
And if you don't need to go back all the way and you can build it out, that's our point. We may be able to do that without you having to go back too far.
That's right.
And I tell you what, our customers are loving it. They're like, you're the first company that's really listened to our major pain point and are solving that with AI rather than giving us the moonshot over here. You know, we're not ready for that. So that's a change
And you're dealing, if I remember correctly, you're dealing with a lot of the sort of the transportation world.
Yeah.
They're not known for being nimble and, you know, they're pretty set in their ways.
Yeah.
But you're dealing with that. You're dealing with that culture, and you're being able to use AI in a way that makes sense to them. That is truly value add.
The transportation world said a big no to AI before because they're like, our IT departments won't allow it. It's too complicated. Our data's too dirty. This is too big. Our union won't allow it. All of a sudden, with our incremental AI pieces, they're like, you're helping me train my technicians and know which technicians are qualified for which job because you brought all that manual stuff up here and I can just see that. That's huge for my union. That's huge for us productivity-wise. So it's these really helping them in the trenches with AI, that they're like, oh, yes to AI, because it's not some big, complicated, abstract idea. It's something very...
But what I find is that in the marketplace today, because AI is such a buzzword, everybody's saying, I can do AI. I'm hanging out my shingles. I'm an AI expert. I'm looking for somebody that I can trust. And to be able to do it, I see the benefits and values of AI, but how do I deploy it that truly is meaningful and beneficial to my organization? And finding that trusted individual, because there's a lot of people out there saying,
that's selling it.
I can do
it's the gold rush.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, you're right. And I think for us, what we are doing is focusing on the industries that we know a lot about. So for us, it's transit, it's utilities, and it's public works. So we're saying we're not a mile wide and an inch deep. We know this in public sector, and we're going to build your AI solutions for this, and bringing in all their pain points that we've implemented so many agencies, right? So we know exactly what they're hurting on and why they're hurting. So they feel that we have credibility around that.
Oh, no doubt.
We're getting a lot of traction.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah. Where do you see it going? I mean, this is all exciting. What do you see, let's say, Octave? Now it's Octave. It's not ALI, it's Octave. How does that impact your business? How do you take and recognize the fact that there's going to be changes? I don't know what it looks like. I have no clue. Hopefully it's better. Hopefully, whatever. How do you take the realities of the marketplace and begin to help your customer not get concerned?
I'll tell you what, Scott, Octave has been the best thing that's happened to us. And it's because this is now a software company that is thinking like a software company. That's all they're focused on. They're not dealing with hardware. They're not dealing with some other services that they were doing. They're dealing with the software that they've purchased, and they want to make it better. And so they're dealing with partners like us to help them generate that. I'll give you an example. Octave has come to us on their own and said, you guys are the leaders in public sector. By the way, I hate to toot our horn, but because of my leaders, we have won Public Sector Partner of the Year 3 years in a row since Hexagon started it, and Octave has now built it up. And we are known, and they trust us as you are our public sector partner. So they came to us and said, we want to open new markets. We're great. We're doing so well over here. How do we open new markets? So we have strategized with them to say, in utilities, in public works, and in transit, let's build out a pre-solution of pre-built all of this transit in a box, utilities in a box, and go mid-market and down-market. Places where they couldn't afford to buy your solution because the services are so complicated around it. Let's pre-build them, give them the best of what the larger agencies have done, and then say, you get all of this. And then if you want to change it, you're welcome to change it, but you don't have to. You've got most of it already pre-built. And that reduces our cost on the system integration side dramatically, so we can afford to do it. And it becomes a numbers game. Octave loves this and is working with us because they want to expand all the way down market, So this is the nimbleness of a software company, that a larger company that's not really focused on software is not that focused on that. So we're breaking new ground with Octave.
That's good.
Better partner.
See, there you have it.
We love it.
I like that. Let me venture into the conversation around utilities. There's a lot of challenges that exist today in the utility market, because you've got greater demand for power, you've got an aging infrastructure, you've got to create, you've got to have smart grids to be able to deal with distributed energy. You've got a lot going on in that service territory. How do you play in that? Because it's going to be across all utilities. Everybody's going to be dealing with this.
It's huge, and it's a big problem. But utilities are in public sector. Of course, there's commercial utilities too. They are the most efficient organizations because they're based on charging citizens a tax on the utility. And raising that is a big deal for a mayor or a governor. And so they are very efficient about trying not to raise it or doing it through
Don't
bond.
mess with my rate case.
Yes.
Don't come after me and say, hey, we're going to be modifying the rate case. What everybody knows, AKA, you're going to charge me more, you son of a...
Yes, exactly. and with climate change and global
Yeah.
warming and all, there are some real concerns over there. So they are hyper vigilant about efficiency, operational efficiency, and how we can do it. So AI and other ways around making them more operational efficient is what they're focused on. Now you've got power generation utilities,
Oh, yeah.
you've got water utilities,
Yep, yep.
and they're very, very different.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is they're looking for low risk because they cannot have something go down.
Nope.
That's critical for them.
Yep.
So the critical infrastructure, they're looking for operational efficiencies, but they also have some very, very specific problems that no one else has. They have underground storage tanks. They can't, I was talking to Tucson today. They said we can't even put a barcode on our tanks because we have no Wi-Fi, we have no services, we have to use microwave. And then outside in the desert heat, every barcode melts and strips off. Our metal ones fade off. So we have problems because we're utilities and we have these huge things that are in the elements or that don't have connection that you need to help us solve and figure out mobile applications to help us solve. So they are coming to us in ways that nobody else is because they have that operational efficiency need. And I love that.
It's like, where do you start?
Yeah.
Like, where's point zero and then go to, step number one? Because that would be just the challenge that I see.
Yeah.
Because let's use that utility mindset. You have this service territory, and you have these assets that are not bound by four walls. They are all over the place, right? And you need to track it. You need to be able to do it in a way that makes sense.
Right.
But you're right. I just think it's a really interesting time in the world of utilities. Power generation too, where you have the demand for power growing so dramatically because of the
our data centers.
Yeah. And then I'm a utility. I'm going, this is my there's my structure. Here it is. Here's my service territory.
Well, it's not just that. It's the demand for power and it's the diversity of sources now to get the power.
Yeah.
So each diverse source becomes critical assets.
Yeah.
And how do you manage that and maintain it?
Yeah.
So their problem is multifold. What other ones are doing.
Yeah.
But transit agencies, trains.
Yes.
The old way we would go down tracks and send lasers down the tracks and measure the shear on the track. Nowadays, they're putting an iPhone at the bottom of the rail carriage and sending that down and taking automatic videos of the rails and sending that back to an AI computational generation thing that sends it to Hexagon. And we calculate all that and say, here's the shears you're having. So it's become so much easier to do something that costs them millions of dollars because of the AI engine that is using all this data as a large language model.
How do you deal with the gap? The gap that I see is, here's technology. Technology is just going at a blistering pace, whatever that is. And it just keeps on going up. User adoption, I'm telling you, I'm a human being. I can't do this. I can see it and I agree with it, I guess. But I'm here. So there's this gap.
Yeah. There's that gap and everyone is selling over there.
Yes.
And what we are doing is saying, you can't get there yet. Let us build you these little steps that allow you to go there.
I like it.
That's our concept of it.
Yeah, see, that makes sense. I like it. I like it a lot because I know that a confused mind doesn't make a decision. That to me is a confusion gap that I'm not going to make a decision. But if you help me with that journey,
that little stack,
consumable, manageable,
bite-sized
strategy. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
You were wonderful. I'm sorry, we didn't get a...
it's okay.
Let's get Eric on. This is something.
Yeah, go ahead. Put him on.
Put him on. Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's amazing.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. He's another Indian.
But that amazing is over there. So talk to us. Give us a little background on who you are.
Yeah, Eric Shufelt. Spent the last 25 years working with the EAM solution, dating back to the data stream days.
I was just getting ready. I was going to drop the data stream name.
Yes, I was part of the data stream crew. Obviously went to Info.
I know people that you know too.
I'm sure. It's, we're all aging. if I grew my beard, it would be white as can be. So,
Yeah.
and then was part of the Hexagon acquisition from the EAM business. So,
Infor?
Yep. And then,
You know my daughter?
yes, I do. I've met her a couple times. Yeah. And then a year ago, joined 21 Tech. Had a great opportunity to join a wonderful team that I had been familiar with over the years.
Yeah.
And so now I lead the professional services group at 21 Tech. That's pretty exciting.
What do you mean by professional services? What does that mean?
Yeah, so we have a team of implementers, but more than that, it's around business process, understanding true consultation.
Process.
You know,
I love process.
Too many people, you either have someone that just knows the process, right? They have industry experience.
Yeah.
They've been around the block a time or
Right.
two. And then you have the others that just know the product, right? We've been very fortunate to have a large collection of resources that know both and really how to correlate process back to the solution and take that design and move forward.
Foundational.
Absolutely.
You will have a problem implementing a system if you don't nail down the process. Have that, here's my as is view of the world.
Right.
Here's my
Number
2B. And then be able to bridge those gaps, and everybody's in a room saying, no, I get a report this way.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know where it comes from, but I get it.
Exactly. Well, and understanding what's the output, what's the objective of that
Yes,
process.
yes.
Right? Because if you're not
Yes.
looking at what my target is through that process design,
Yeah.
you're never going to be able to come back and say, well, are we successful in what we're doing?
Yeah.
And so you really need to know those metrics.
I like that. Dilraj, I like that.
He's a keeper.
Yeah. See, I like that. That's always been a big thorn in my side because I've been down that road and realized that that's important.
Yeah.
So where do you see it going? You've got all this stuff that's happening and you've got these existing clients. What do you see on the horizon?
Yeah.
Outside of the fact that you got AI and you're dealing with data.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
Continued growth. I mean, I think what was really critical for us is to meet our clients where they're at, right? Too often I've seen, situations where, an organization so far behind where a product is, right? Or where the vision is. And what happens, you're urging the customer, no, you need to implement reliability now. You need to implement these advanced features. The reality is they're not even collecting failure codes today. So let's meet them where they're at, and then let's,
Bring up a good.
take that journey together to increase, the overall maintenance maturity.
How in the world can we have a world today where the conversation's been around asset management, reliability, and all of the stuff that's associated with it? We have systems, and there are still companies that don't know their failure codes, that are just still in the dark ages of you can't even say asset management.
Right.
They're still, reactive, riding in on that white horse. I'm going to fix that pump.
Yeah. Well, I talked to a user yesterday here at the conference that indicated that they have a list of assets in their EAM system, but they're not managing their assets. And so how do you take them, along that journey? Because it is change, right? And that's important. And there has to be a level of process definition that says, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Almost a mandate, right?
Yeah.
And when you look, especially in what we're doing in public works, transit, there's safety, repercussions potentially if you're not following process. And I think it's creating that level of visibility, accountability, to really drive it, right? And to bring them forward.
And then you got to deal with the fact that system didn't deliver on the promise that was originally sold. And it's got some mud on it.
Yeah.
And you've got to take the individuals and say, no, that's okay. We can take what you have and make it better.
Yeah. The key, and that falls right into my world of
this is
professional services, right?
Yeah.
I think it's really key. Again, at the beginning of any implementation, understand what the objectives are. Understand from an organizational perspective, what are your key value drivers? And then we can align how we're going to implement, how we're going to design process to those key drivers. And then from there, it is managing it. And I can tell you so often when we have organizations that are moving from one solution to Hexagon EAM, there's this fear, right? Anxiety starts to boil up when it's coming time for go live because they want everything, right? I need every step. And I think what's really important is to understand EAM is an evolution, right? Just because you go live doesn't mean we're not going to continue to help Exactly.
Come on.
You're going to continue to configure, enhance the solution, meet the changes in your business processes, and evolve. And I've always said, you should treat the Hexagon EAM implementation or solution as one of your assets. It needs, your maintenance patterns.
Man, that's a good way of looking at it.
To go through it as well. It's really critical for people to start thinking about that and making sure they are continuing to maintain and operate the solution.
How do people get a hold of you? What's the best way? They're saying, wow, I like what he's saying. How do they get a hold of you?
Well, hey, we just kicked off a new website, 21tech.com. We have a lot of contact information out there to reach us. Obviously, we have a great partnership with Hexagon EAM, and they pull us into a lot of conversations as well.
What if I want to talk to you?
Hey, I can give you my phone number and email.
Are you out on LinkedIn?
Absolutely.
What's it under?
Eric.Shufelt.
Oh,
Yep.
Dot, okay.
Yep.
That's good.
Fantastic. Yeah.
You were wonderful.
Hey, it's a pleasure.
I'm a big fan of 21 Tech.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Because they're doing it right. They're making it easy steps to be able to have success. Right there, 21 Tech. We're going to have all the contact information for these two gents out on Industrial Talk. Reach out, bring them into your decision tree process, and make them a partner because they know what they're doing. All right, we're going to have more conversations coming from Hexagon Live. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
That's a wrap. Dilraj, Eric, delivering the goods, insights. 21 Tech is the organization, broadcasting from Hexagon Live. Floor, right at the zone, right there. As you wandered around, you're looking at all this great technology and these individuals that are just absolutely passionate about you and your success. That's it. Okay, you're to do. Dilraj, Eric, connect, 21 Tech, follow them. That's what you need to do because you get all the great information. It's happening. All right, Industrial Talk is here for you. I say it all the time. You want to be on the show? You want to amplify your voice? This is the place for you. We love industry. We love the people of industry. We love what's happening out there. That's Industrial Talk. We're pretty passionate about that. So just go out to industrialtalk.com, click connect. You'll connect with me. Let's have a chat. All right. Be bold, be brave. Dare greatly. Hang out with those two gents from 21 Tech, and you will be changing the world. We're going to have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.